Artificial intelligence updates December 20th, 24. Christmas is approaching and there's a lot of updates at the end of the year. I will start with Google Gemini. Uh, Google released several excellent models, and this is from my screen. I have Gemini Advanced, which is a paid version, $20 a month, and it includes multiple models. And you see the new ones is 1.5 Pro with deep research, which means it can go online and search for things. 2.0 Flash Experimental, very good model, and just a few days ago 2.0 Experimental Advanced. Three models, they're doing very good. Google takes first place on the open leaderboard, which we will discuss later, but this is quite amazing. So these three models, and here are different products from Google. So first, of course, latest text large language models. Well, it's not just text, some of them are multimodal. Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking Experimental, yet another model, which I haven't tried because it's only available inside Google AI Studio. Project Astra, Universal AI Assistant. Google Jules AI Code Agent. Project Mariner, browse the web and take actions on your behalf. Deep Research creates multi-step research plans and search the web and generates the reports. AI agents helping to play video games. Veo 2, new Google DeepMind text to video model, quite amazing. Let me actually go and just to show you, this is kind of videos it produces. This is from the Google website, and this is yet another. It's Imagen version 3, Imagen 3, and again the quality of the images it produces, absolutely amazing. Bright colors, lots of details. Let me see. Yeah, this is my favorite. This is Calibri, but it's also like a strawberry. Yeah, really great. NotebookLM, well, people love it. The three main developers of NotebookLM left Google to do something on their own. I still don't know what it is, but NotebookLM takes a lot of text, a lot of files, and analyzes them, summarizes them, transforming into some like frequently asked questions or some sort of report. So there is a new update which allows you, to, as you create the content, as you summarize it, as you're creating audio or podcast with hosts, you can actually communicate with them, and you can talk to them and adjust and tell them how to change the output. So this is amazing. Next is OpenAI Days. So OpenAI did 12 days, and each day they were announcing something. So there were Thursday, Friday, 1 week, and then 5 days next week, and then this week is the last week, 5 days. So day 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Day A, they spoke about adding a real-time search within AI model. So now when you're talking to ChatGPT, giving prompts, it makes a decision whether it needs to go online and do some search, and it can actually do that and return the results. Day 9, they announced that not only they released O1 model, which is their latest released model, but they also released API, and it has a reasoning effort parameter, so you can indicate whether you want model to don't think too much, just give me a fast response, or try to think longer to provide better answer. And also on this day, day 9, they have a development day, dev day, with multiple interviews, a lot of videos. If you go to OpenAI YouTube channel, you will see a lot of videos on this day. Day 10, they announced 1-800 ChatGPT. So on your phone, you can create a contact, call it ChatGPT, give it a phone, 1-800-ChatGPT, and you can call it and talk to it, give a question, prompts like audio prompts, and it will answer. Or you can send WhatsApp messages, and then it will respond via WhatsApp. Day 11, they spoke about desktop apps, which they have applications for Windows and Mac, but it can also work with other applications. For example, they demonstrated how to work with Notion, which is a note-taking application, and you can ask ChatGPT for help. What's interesting in this demonstration, they used personality of Santa Claus, and he was talking in jolly voice and making suggestions how to improve something, and like it was a lot of fun. But the most important day is the last one, day 12, which was today. They announced the new model O3 and O3 Mini. So the previous model was O1, which was the latest, which was released just recently. And the next one is not released yet. O3 Mini will be probably released in the end of January, and O3, the full O3 model, will be released probably February, March, soon after the O3 Mini. But this model is absolutely amazing. So right now it's in testing, especially in security testing. So it beats humans in all kind of tests, and it beats all other models, especially in math and coding. But what's interesting, this is the first model ever which beats humans in ARC test, so-called ARC test. So ARC test was invented by Francois Cohere several years ago, and this is specifically a test to which usually machine learning models cannot pass, but humans pass. And so this is the example. So here is input, and this is supposed to be output. This is another input, and this is output. So you see that what's happening here, you add a yellow square to fill the empty space, right, from input to output. So given this input, machine should return the output. So apparently you just copy the figures and fill the space. For humans, it's easy to understand, but not for models. And by the way, these are not given as pictures. They are given as series of numbers, like empty is 0 and color is some number, and it has to figure out and make this graphical representation inside. So, this is really huge that O3 can actually beat humans. Yeah, these are more of those pictures, just a demonstration. Humans in the ARC test. So the Turing test, the famous definition of artificial intelligence, was passed somewhere in May, about half a year ago, right? And the machines already better than humans in math, in coding, but now they also approached in ARC test. So by all means, you can say that actually artificial general intelligence level is achieved. I mean, the rest is you have the brain, you need to add more responsibility, I guess, and also give it legs and hands and whatever to make it operate in our physical world. But yeah, this is really exciting. Anyway, next is Jetson Orin Nano Super. So this is this small board which has NVIDIA electronics, NVIDIA chips. This is not something new. So this is the timetable of the last 10 years. NVIDIA was releasing Jetson kits starting from 2014, 15, and so on, and they're getting better. So the last one, which they just released, by the way, it's only $250, so it's very affordable, and it is NVIDIA, so it can run CUDA, it can run large language models. The memory is not that big, it's 8 gigabytes, but it can it can run some smaller quantized model pretty easily, and it is designed to use integer int8. So yeah, this is a great tool. You can use it to build some appliances, some robots, whatever. Next, AI systems can now self-replicate. So this is the article from Shanghai, China. And what they've shown that the model can replicate itself. They tried different models. For Llama, they achieved 50% success rate, while Qwen from Alibaba, this is Chinese model, reached 90%. And there was a lot of discussion of the danger which may result from this kind. So next is NeurIPS, or now it's called NeurIPS. So Neuro Information Processing Systems. This is the oldest and probably the largest annual conference. It was originally to discuss brain versus computers. Uh, Most recently, it's not so much brain, but mostly it's computers and large language models and so on. So this time it was in Vancouver. There were 13,000 people, and also 3,000 participated virtually. So it's a big event. A lot you can check. There are a lot of videos and publications. It's a very, very big event. I only want to say one thing. There was a talk by Ilya Sutskever, which is called Superintelligence is Self-Aware, Unpredictable, and Highly Agentic. So this is a very interesting talk. It's about 20 minutes. I highly recommend you to watch it. Here is the link. Next is best of N jailbreaking. This is coming from Anthropic, and they developed a method which allows them very predictably and reliably to jailbreak any large language model. Best of N jailbreaking works by repeatedly sampling variations of prompt with a combination of augmentation such as random shuffling of capitalization for textual prompt, background noise or pitch for audio prompt, whatever. So they just try to change the prompt until they achieve the result. We find that BON jailbreaking achieves high attack success rates on closed source language models, like 89% on ChatGPT 4o, which is a recent model. It was released in August, right? 78% on Claude 3.5, Sonnet, and so on. Next, Microsoft Phi 4. So it's a small model, 14 billion parameters. They claim that it beats GPT-4o. The benchmarks are really, really very good. So you see this is Phi 4. But, and it's, by the way, available on Llama, you can run it. But people who were testing it, they complain that, yes, it answers some things, but in some other areas it's not so good, so you cannot really rely on it. So it's no match for a big model. Next is something which is not AI, but I find it like really fun. So you see here there is a laptop and it pushes the air out. So this is a way to cool laptop. It's air cooling, but it's absolutely quiet. And the way it works, you have two grids with electrical potential between them, and the grids are close to each other. So when you apply voltage, it causes ionization. Ions are created on one grid and then travel to another grid where they absorbed. So two things happen. First of all, when electron or ions move between the grids, they also take molecules of air with them, and this creates the flow of the air. Second, you create ozone, and so they use some catalyst which converts ozone back to oxygen to keep it healthy. This idea of creating this absolutely quiet air pump is not new, but previous designs were consuming energy, so they were okay for desktops but not for laptops. But now, well, technology improves, and now there is a solution which can be successfully used on laptops. So probably next year we'll see a lot of laptops with this technology. And you see how small these devices are. Next is AI News Generator, a Python script using CrewAI, Google Search API, SERP API, and Cohere model. I used something like this about maybe half a year ago. I didn't like the results because, first of all, CrewAI was not ready. It was getting into infinite loop and so on. And SERP API, well, Google by itself maybe a little bit biased. Well, I don't know how to express it. So you can put it together, yeah, and you need a really, really good model for Crew AI to work to make decisions. I'm not sure if this small model will do what's necessary, but it's just to demonstrate it's on GitHub how easy it is to put this agentic system together. Google project Aristotle. This is not AI. This is something completely different. Google were trying to understand how to build good working teams, and usually people think that the good team is the one which has very talented developers, but the answer is no. The most important is not just the talent of the people, but also how well they work with each other. So people need to feel safe, comfortable. People need to be respectful, listen to each other, work together. This is more important than individual talent of team members. Next, Perplexity AI has some new features. Spaces allow you to create custom GPTs and Claude projects, instructions to automate tasks and create PPC campaigns, for example, use different AI models, GPT-4, Claude Sonnet, use the Perplexity Chrome extension and the Perplexity API. Perplexity is doing very good financially because, well, they use good models, like, for example, GPT-4 and Claude, and they do their own search and then combined with a very good interface. So, yeah, they're quite successful. Cohere created a new model, which is called Command R7B model. Another model, Deep Thought 8B, it's open source from Ruliad. Um, DeepSeek V2. So this is a big model, 236 billion parameters total. It's a mixture of experts, MOE model. It requires a lot of GPU. It's open source. It's on Hugging Face, GitHub, and so on. DeepSeek, the company, it is from Hangzhou, China. Next, Devin. So people compare Devin with Cursor, and the result is overall Cursor is better AI coding agent than Devin. So Devin, why it's called Devon? Devin, it's I. Okay, Devin is a startup. I mean, Devin is a product of a startup, and the way usually when you use something like Cursor, you are in the editor. So Cursor is an editor. It's a spun-off from Visual Studio Code with AI functionality added, and you can ask it to document your script, to continue, like you tell it what you want to write and it will write it right there. So it helps you to write the code as you're writing the code. Whereas with Devin, it's completely different workflow. With Devin, you communicate via Slack. So Slack, it's a messaging application like regular Messenger or WhatsApp or whatever. So imagine that you are a manager and you're accustomed to work with Slack, and you talk to Devin as if Devin is your software engineer. And Devin will do the whole thing, right? It will write the code and deploy it. Uh, does it work? Well, yes and no, not as good, but well, it's a big undertaking to actually make a reliable software engineer. So overall, what tests show that Cursor is better, and also Cursor is of course much cheaper. Cursor is about $20 a month, whereas Devin is $500 a month. But it is a really interesting attempt to make a real software engineer. LCM, Large Concept Model by Meta. So the idea that instead of creating vectors from tokens, like from short words or parts of words, like 4 characters, you create vectors from sentences. Sentences contain some sort of meaning. So the idea of converting words or sentences or even paragraphs into vectors is not new. It's coming from word-to-vec model, which was like more than 10 years ago. So LCM, the large concept model, when you make a vector from a sentence, it may contain the concepts which this sentence describe. So that's why it's called large concept model. And it's using its own vectors and its own embedding space for these vectors. And it uses some sort of diffusion process to refine embeddings and so on. It relies more on short sentences than on long sentences, so it has some drawbacks. It's work in progress, but it's just a really interesting attempt to make model like more thinking. AI updates 4. So what do we have here? Oh, different people talk recently about their estimates when AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, will be reached. So Sam Altman from OpenAI believes that it is already reached or will be reached like very, very soon on current hardware. And well, his position may be a little bit biased because his company OpenAI has arrangement with Microsoft that Microsoft is helping them with data centers, with money, but in exchange, OpenAI gives them all their technology. But as soon as they reach AGI, then they will not have to give everything to Microsoft. So OpenAI wants to officially be able to say that AGI is achieved. But other people from other companies, they have different opinions. So Mustafa Suleiman from Microsoft believes that it will require five more generations of hardware, and his definition of AGI includes physical labor capabilities, which means humanoid robots. Google DeepMind researcher believes that current AI models are already close to what have been considered as AGI a few years ago. Google CEO Sundar Pichai says AI development is slowing down, that low-hanging fruit AI development has been picked and further progress will require deeper breakthroughs. Ilya Sutskever predicts that the current approach of pre-training AI models on massive datasets will soon reach its limits, and he anticipates a shift toward new innovative training methods and paradigms. OpenAI is building AI agents and hiring people for developing AI agent infrastructure. So a lot of opinions, but if you look closer, all people think that it will be achieved, if not like in few months, but maybe in 2-3 years. So 5 years already considered as too long. So interesting. Next, Amazon Bedrock prompt router. Bedrock is API inside Amazon Cloud. You can call different foundation models. They are hosted on Bedrock. And the router allows to choose which model to use to answer your question. So if the question is very simple, you can use a cheaper model, whereas if the question requires a better model, then the router will route to this better model, which is more expensive. Like using the router allows you to save money, and they're not the first who invented it, but well, they implemented it now on Amazon. XAI builds a big data center in Memphis, and it's called Colossus. In August, I believe they had 100,000 GPUs. By the end of the year, they were projecting 200,000, but apparently they're planning to get up to 1 million NVIDIA GPUs at some point, which makes this whole construction the biggest project in the area, in the region, and it also consumes a lot of energy, so it creates some political tensions. So anyway, this is really interesting. Pica Art. So this is a mobile application, mobile subscription, and you can go to this website. In fact, let me go to this website and just show you how it looks. So you can take yourself and you can put it in a video. You can fly. There are all kind of things which may happen, and the way you generate this video with prompts, you describe what should be on this video, you can correct it and come up with yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a mobile application for your phone. You can use it right now. Next is Modern Bird. So Jeremy Howard came up with his team with yet another model, which is embedding model, which is drop-in replacement for any bird-like model, and they claim it to be very effective, very efficient, great for analyzing code. It's very fast and accurate, so they provide some proof for that, and this is the link on their post. Next is Higgsfield AI launched Real Magic. So this is video, and Hollywood studio already testing it. Not one studio, studios. They also plan to create AI video streaming service. So it's very interesting. 10 minutes videos generated, quite amazing. Next link is how to build RAG, good quality RAG, and they're using N8N, Superbase, and Postgres database. So N8N, yeah, all these tools are open source. N8N is a low-code workflow automation platform, and Superbase is open source alternative to Firebase. Firebase, if you don't know, coming from Google, and it's a set of tools like construction blocks to build web applications or mobile applications. Some of these tools are free, some of them you have to pay money for. It's a very, very good set, but Superbase is an open source version of it. So the system, based on these three building blocks, allows you to do the following. So you have a Google Drive, it monitors the Google Drive, and as you put documents there in different formats, like text, PDFs, whatever, it automatically identifies the file type, extracts the text content, and stores it in a vector database. And then they use this vector database in their RAG system, and they build the RAG system. So it's about 20 minutes video. I think it's a really good example how to build things. Next, okay, Andrei Karpathy. So he posted this video. It's about an hour, 22 minutes. What he's doing, he is interviewing a model to discuss what the US founding fathers would think about our modern society. And these are some of the topics being discussed in this video. Well, the video is synthetic, like a synthetic voice talks about it, but the overall conclusion that the founding fathers would recommend to return to the roots and to restore the original, like things they were fighting for. Anyway, interesting. Next is Crowdsource Arena Leaderboard. So what's interesting this week is that Gemini is on the first place. Here is for English queries. Gemini actually takes first two places ahead of OpenAI. So the red dots I put next to Google, to Gemini, and you see how it performs very, very well. The green ones are open source, mostly coming from Meta, although there is something from China. This is Qwen. Qwen is a really, really good model. I really like it. It's coming from Alibaba. So here there are two Qwens for coding. I like Claude 3.5. And you see here I put blue marker. So for coding, well, it behaves pretty good. But again, Gemini is supposedly to be the best. I use Gemini also for coding because if I have to write code which uses the most recent libraries, then of course Gemini is good because Gemini knows all the recent information, because Gemini is Google, it knows everything that Google search knows. So this is great. Next is tech layoffs. Nothing changed max from last month. So you see, starting from 2020, from COVID, and usually layoffs start in the beginning of the year. Like for example, 2023, you see a lot of layoffs in the first quarter, and 2024 also there were some layoffs, and then it went down. Now 2025 starts, and probably in January, February, we will see more layoffs, but we will see. Anyway, this is my information as usual, and thank you.